It's the Longbox Office. The Longbox Office. Movies and comics. Longbox Office.
And now, the Longbox Office with your hosts, Matt and Sky.
Hey everybody, I'm Matt,
I'm Sky,
and welcome to the Longbox Office.
where we break down the past, present, and distant future of comic book movies,
Yes, we do.
which we'll be doing this week on our Infinity War speculation episode. This is something I've been looking forward to for a long time, and we'll be looking forward to the movie for an even longer time.
And what happens after Infinity War?
Yeah.
Phase 4.
Yeah, all that shit. We're going to speculate away. We're going to talk this, that, and the other.
We're going to come up with wild theories and
It's just gonna be
ideas, and none of it's going to be what's going to happen.
But it's a fun time, and it's pretty much what we do every other day of the week. So we thought we'd do it on microphone this time.
Put it on wax.
Put it on wax. Yeah. Yeah, we're going plat only. We're going platinum in no time. I've been looking forward to this movie for, it seems like, my entire life. It feels like
Well, that's
it at
weird,
this
because
point.
they just announced it like less than a year ago.
Yeah,
probably.
I know. Isn't that right? Isn't that weird? Like,
Yeah.
it was just over a year ago because they made the deal with
Something like that.
Spider-Man after initially revealing the slate for Phase 3.
Yeah.
So, but it's been a long time coming. It feels like, and it's still years away. It's a two-parter.
No, maybe not so much.
I mean, not so much as recent news shows.
And
It might be
there's
two different
There's
movies.
two movies in between, which are
Black Panther and-
Captain Marvel, and the Ant-Man and the Wasp.
But the movies have been titled Infinity War Part 1 and 2 upon the initial announcement for Phase 3.
That's what they were called initially when it was announced, yes.
Yeah, but they recently have revealed, Marvel have revealed that they're probably going to retitle the movies to some capacity, whether that's
Yeah.
a new subtitle or, like, maybe you theorize that it would be, like, Part 1 could be just called Avengers The Infinity Gauntlet, and the next one being Avengers Infinity War.
Or
maybe
Avengers
just
Infinity Stones or something like that.
Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, the beginning of
Rise of the Planet
Rise
of
of
the
the
Dawn of
Dawn.
the Apes.
Yes. But you know what? I like Infinity War Part 1, Part 2. I'm just fine with that.
I think Infinity Gauntlet and then Infinity War is fine.
That's cool too. But as far as making them two separate movies, it seems like it's a two-part movie. You know, if it's dealing with the same issue of Thanos and everything.
Yeah, but I think what they're trying to get is that it's not going to be some, like, you're not going to be stopped in the middle of the story kind of thing.
Like Matrix
it'll
2
be,
and 3.
It'll be a complete story, whatever it is. It might have a cliffhanger, but it could still be a story and then, work as a film by itself.
Uh-huh. I'm thinking it'd be kind of like the Matrix sequels where, like, after Part 2 is over, it goes, like, to be continued, or, it's very clearly
I don't think it'll be like that.
Or, at least kind of like the way Captain America, the first Avenger, ended with, like, it just going black after him meeting Sam Jackson. And
Right.
it just cuts to black. And you just assume that the story is not finished yet. That could be cool. It sucks, man. It's bittersweet because I'm looking forward to this movie, both of these films, so much that, it's so far away for even Part 1. And then you gotta wait another summer.
Yeah.
It goes, first one summer 2018, and then summer 2019. You gotta wait another year.
And then,
Just to find out how it concludes.
Yeah, literally one day less than a year apart.
Yeah. And they are...
But yeah, Black Panther comes out February 2018, and then Avengers Part 1 is May. So just a couple months later.
Yeah. So I wonder how they're going to tie that in first of all. Like, if it's the last one you see before Infinity War, I wonder how they're going to set that up. Maybe in post-credit scenes or the events of the film.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't know.
And then Ant-Man is July, so 2 months after Infinity War Part 1. And then March of the next year is Captain Marvel, and then May of that year is Part 2.
That's weird how long away Ant-Man sequel is. But we more or less, we didn't get a sequel to Ant-Man. We saw more of Ant-Man and Ant-Man do new things in Civil War.
Yeah.
So we got an Ant-Man fix that should last us till then, you know.
How about you give a little bit of backstory of the Infinity Gauntlet and that whole in the comics?
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, so there was
So people know what the fuck we're talking about.
Right. There was an Infinity War miniseries in the Marvel comics. There was an Infinity Saga. You know, you had the Infinity War, the Infinity Gauntlet, the Infinity Watch. Yeah, there was all kinds of stuff. The Infinity Gauntlet, of course, being just an infinite source of power in the Marvel universe, comics and movies alike.
It's basically the God Glove.
Yeah, that's what they probably could have called it originally. But you know, we've seen what happens when some of these sources of power that are referred to as the stones, the Infinity Stones in the movie. I'm getting used to that. You know, I like gems better, and they do refer to one of them as a gem in Avengers: Age of Ultron. I noticed that last time. But yeah, these different sources of immense power, you know, they kind of show a little bit more exposition on it in Guardians of the Galaxy than anything else.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, but they explain, you know, like the ether in Thor 2 is a gem, or a stone.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't know for a long the Tesseract. We didn't know for a long time that was written in as, because it was the cosmic cube is what everybody was thinking it was, and
which I think it is also.
But for the sake of the films,
there's a stone
works.
inside of it.
Yeah, the ether's not a stone. It's a, you know. So I don't know how you capture that energy into a stone.
I don't know.
For the sake of putting in a glove, but it's a movie.
They make it work.
Yeah, but all these different stones, when combined and put into the Infinity Gauntlet, gives the wearer just infinite, omnipotent power, and you're god of everything essentially.
Yeah. Can control time, space, reality, the mind, power,
and
soul.
That's right.
And so we've
seen all but
I think
the time and soul gem. We haven't seen those yet. So
reality was the ether.
Yes.
It's weird. Power was the one in Guardians.
Yes, that blew up cities and stuff. They're all. I always feel like power is kind of like a cheap one.
Yeah,
they're all power stones.
Yeah. The Mind Stone was in Loki's scepter, and now is in Vision's head. Is it the space? Is the Tesseract?
The Tesseract.
Okay.
Because it opened up that space hole in the first Avengers.
The space hole.
The space hole.
The wormhole to space.
Where all the.
So we have time and soul.
Yeah. Any speculation as to where?
I think the rest of the stones will be introduced long before Infinity War.
So do I.
I think we'll get one in Doctor Strange. I kind of want to say time, just because I feel like soul will be Adam Warlock, and it'll be in Guardians 2.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I could see that.
Yeah,
because I was originally thinking maybe Black Panther, but I don't see how there. I could see like in Wakanda, there's something. There's an actual...
Sure, like some sort of like ancient artifact or something, but I don't know. And my idea for it, I don't know if this is how it's gonna go, but my idea for it before we had heard this story just recently of the renaming and like maybe being separate movies or whatever, but my idea was essentially like sort of a mini Avengers movie for the first one where they're taking on a different villain. And my current theory now is the Masters of Evil being led by Baron Zemo, which would be cool.
Have all the villains.
Yeah,
back,
it could be. You could bring back Red Skull maybe, or you could bring back some other people, or you could throw in people like Absorbing Man and just some other random, villains we haven't seen.
The Abomination.
Just characters that they don't have to really mean anything necessarily. That's just his sort of crew.
Yeah.
But it could be somebody that could be essentially someone to team with Thanos. Because I don't see it being an Infinity War in the sense that it's just Thanos beating the shit out of all the Avengers, because there's a fuck ton of them.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they're going to want to have more of a war.
Yeah.
But if they did
want to last for 2 movies, yeah.
If they did just Thanos... no, I'm talking about in the second movie. if they did just Thanos against the Avengers and he held his own and kicked all their asses, I think that'd be really cool. I just don't think they'll do it. I don't think it'd be believable.
There'll be
all these
some
people
way.
that they've built up.
Yeah. There'll be some way that they do that because
Because in the comics they sort of attack him one at a time, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Just all attack him.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, there's the most cinematic part to me of Infinity Gauntlet is the end. Is towards the end, that final where they all go to space. And they all are like on this giant chessboard of sorts.
And
that Thanos, like, it's
I don't
his
know if it
headquarters.
necessarily needs to be space, because I think if you make it not space, it takes away the, none of these people can breathe in space thing.
Well, they might have, but then they'll have Doctor Strange. They might do something where it's like, you can breathe out there.
They could do that where they can make it so that works, but it's almost easier to explain it if it's like, I don't know.
Well,
there's some sort of they go through some sort of hole in reality via Doctor Strange to get somewhere,
He'll probably be the one that sends them there to.
I want to see Kang the Conqueror, but we won't because I think he's Fox. But let me run back to my idea real quick. So I feel like it would be a mini Avengers movie where they're taking on the Masters of Evil, led by Baron Zemo. Full Baron Zemo this time would be nice. And that's sort of just, you don't realize it, but it's kind of the B plot. And then the other story is Thanos basically going around collecting the stones. And maybe certain people end up dead and they're trying to figure out what the fuck's happening while they're trying to deal with this other threat kind of thing. And I think that movie could sort of end, or maybe not end, but they could find Vision essentially with his head fucking ripped open and be like, oh shit, this is, something's going on here.
Yeah.
And then the second movie be that, what you were talking about, where they're battling Thanos and he's trying to impress Death.
Sure.
And all that stuff.
Sure.
So, and maybe the first one ends with him killing half the universe or whatever, like he does in the comics by snapping his fingers.
Sure.
Which is just a cool thing.
That would be awesome if you knew that was that was what he was going to do, and then it shows his hand in the Jim Starlin fashion, it just shows his hand, and you snap, and you get a shit ton of reverb on that snap, and it goes black right then, and you just hear the snap fading out for a second, and then it just goes to credits.
The only problem with that is non-comic fans won't know what the fuck just happened.
Well, if they set it up, at some point maybe the movie's with the snap of my finger, I can,
maybe
at my will.
I feel like you almost have to do the snap and then show the aftermath of it, and then go to credits. Show that everybody's just like, what the fuck?
Sure. Yeah, that doesn't hurt either. They don't even have to cut to black. They could just do the snap, and then maybe just that all that reverb on the snap, you can just hear it echoing or something as it just shows a shot through space or something like that, and then shows.
And maybe you just see sort of a montage of because it's almost like Rapture-y in the comics where the other people just sort of disappear.
They're gone. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you just go through a thing where you see them just disappearing in front of people, and people just what the fuck.
Yeah, you see all these shots of people just walking their baby in a stroller, and all of a sudden they're like, where's my baby?
Yeah.
And
I think it's even more impactful though when you see the heroes disappearing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think all of them would survive that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so somebody's gotta go.
Maybe, yeah.
Sorry, Ant-Man.
Yeah. Oh, well, you could get rid of Gamora from Guardians and a couple other people. I don't know. Or something, yeah. But the lesser ones should go.
Yeah.
I think because you need
Well, and I think
wants to see the main.
That's the thing I was gonna say though, is as much as that would be a cool moment to have, I don't know if they'll do it because it just adds more to the none of these deaths mean anything stakes of Marvel.
Yeah.
You wanna, if you're gonna kill somebody, you wanna actually kill them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll go that route.
Yeah. Well, the thing with you saying it doesn't have to be in space, I think it kind of does just from Avengers 2. The whole vision that that Tony has is in space, and that is the closest we've seen to Infinity War.
Yeah.
You see all these people in that we haven't met yet.
They just look like soldiers though,
Yeah, there's there's people, if you've seen the Avengers Age of Ultron scene with Tony getting this kind of vision of what the future may hold for him and the Avengers
From Scarlet Witch.
from Scarlet Witch, it shows on what very much looks like a meteor, or the place that Thanos is always seen when he's
Sanctuary.
yeah.
That's what
Right,
it's
that's what it's called. Yeah, where Thanos' throne is. Where every time you see Thanos, he's there.
Yeah.
So, and we see not only the Avengers all slain, like seeing Hulk just like all but dead.
Yeah.
It means shit's coming, you know. But not only do we see the Avengers characters and people we're familiar with, but we see character faces that we don't know. And every time I watch that movie, I just want to see a little more of a glimpse of who it is.
Yeah.
Maybe we meet them in the other movies
It
leading
would
up.
be cool if that was the end of the first movie.
Oh, yeah.
It would be. I don't think they'll do that, but that would be cool.
Oh my God, you're onto something. What if it did end like that, and the last part was Cap actually dying, and he's like, and it's the same exact
Yeah.
frames, like you could have saved us,
Yeah.
and it's just Tony standing
And then
there.
Tony has to assemble a new team to fucking take down Thanos.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Originally,
But the problem is, I don't think they're gonna do 2 movies in space. So
no, that's where my kind of theorizing comes in. I thought that I think that the first movie should be largely. I mean, we glimpse space and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, because Thanos is out there, you know.
Yeah.
So we get all that, but the first movie should at least probably be half with Thanos coming to Earth, you know, like. You know, the first half of Infinity War can deal with whatever is going on. I think I want to say at least halfway through the first movie, we do get Thanos coming to Earth.
well,
Not only him, but like an army. Maybe we got more Chitauri. We've got a bunch of other things.
so wait. I'm trying to run through this here. The Tesseract is in Odin's vault.
Yeah.
The
Power Stone is in Xandar.
The Power Stone is on Xandar
With the
Nova
Nova
Core. The Ether was with the Collector, but his shit all blew up.
Yeah.
So who knows? But I would assume he still has it.
Yeah.
So that's those. And what's the other one? And then the Mind Stone's in
Vision.
Vision.
Yeah.
So I think it could end up where Thanos has them all and comes to Earth at the end of the first movie to kill Vision, to get the last one,
Oh.
kind of thing.
Okay. See,
That's the way I kind of see it.
in the
But
Infinity-
I don't know.
in the
We
Infinity
we
Gauntlet-
both could be way the fuck off.
Yeah, we could. But the Infinity Gauntlet, you know, because as we're recording this podcast, they're probably still writing the
Yeah,
movies. You know?
sure.
They've already begun the writing process, but, you know, who knows if they've even fleshed out some of these ideas yet. But if they should be listening to our podcast, because I think these are great ideas.
I think I trust Marcus and McFeely to do whatever they see fit.
I trust them more than I trust myself.
They've written all 3 Captain America movies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm
Pretty good.
Yeah.
The Infinity Gauntlet, it more or less starts with Silver Surfer crashing through Doctor Strange's Sanctorum and letting him know Thanos is coming. You know, what I think could happen, what could be really cool, is originally I thought, well, if it's towards the beginning of the comic, just do the same with the movie. But I think since Marvel Studios don't have the rights to Silver Surfer showing up, that's a Fox movie property right now. Have Vision take that place. Maybe we get the first half of the movie or whatever amount of the movie with Vision still involved, because we don't want him to be out of the game the whole time.
Yeah.
And then when he does show up in Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum, it's Vision instead crashing through the roof onto the floor. There's debris everywhere or whatever, and we notice something's not right with Vision. Maybe the Mind Stone is gone, and as he's like short circuiting or whatever he does without it, if he can function without it.
Right.
Assuming he can't, his wires are short circuiting and whatever, and he's just, his last thought to Doctor Strange he can convey is that Thanos he's coming right now. Like,
Right.
he's coming after plummeting from fucking space for all we know. You know, so
Right.
I like that idea. that really starts to build this dread and this horror of what's coming.
It could be that, or it could be Adam Warlock, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he's already in space.
That could be cool.
So.
But we do need, I mean, Vision... Thanos needs to get his hand at one point on the stone, the Mind Stone.
But that could be when he... that could be potentially the end of the first movie. It's like them trying to stop him from getting the last stone.
Yeah.
And then it ends with him getting it.
Damn, I like all your theories better than mine. You just made my theory better.
Yep.
But yeah, totally. Because I do think that
Because then you get them fighting him, and you get to show how strong Thanos is by him beating the shit out of them.
And that...
Like, they're not prepared, and he just destroys them.
And that would be so up Marvel's alley, too, to like with the whole death fake-out thing, because we know we're not going to have Vision dead forever.
Right.
So, to end the movie with, oh my god, they just killed off...
So you can't really kill him.
Right. And
to be fair.
if they end the movie with that happening,
yeah.
Then that's, unless you've read the comics and stuff, it's
right.
And even then, it's Silver Surfer instead of Vision. So it could be completely left field and a great way to set up, oh my god, what's going to happen next? But I do think that the first movie should be largely Earth-based with glimpses of space, because it also would hopefully then, if this is Infinity War and it's the culmination of the Marvel Universe and we want all players on deck, hopefully this is a movie where it would allow, being that it's on Earth, allow the Netflix characters to at least have a small part in the fight on Earth. I
don't know if that'll happen. I sort of doubt it.
Yeah, I sort of doubt it too, but one can
cool.
dream. Even if it's just a little bit of showing what the heroes on Earth are doing.
I think it could be a case where if they do go the route of making some heroes and people disappear, those would be some people that disappear. Like, they'll mention them, but because they disappear, they don't have to use them. Like, they might even show them, or even,
I just want to see all of them.
Even in Infinity Gauntlet, Daredevil goes missing. He's one of the characters that disappears.
Right.
So they could even play into that, and so they have it. So you're mentioning them, so the fans all get excited, but then they're not there.
Oh, and then maybe when they all do appear or reappear in the second movie. The thing is, I'm just picturing like Punisher and Daredevil and Jessica Jones and shit out in space on a meteor, and I'm like, what are they gonna do?
Right.
I feel like they're a little bit more small fries, and they should be
in the
Earth.
Comics. They get Galactus, and he still can't fucking touch Thanos.
Yeah,
so
right. Yeah, right. I do think that the first movie should largely be based. It could be The Empire Strikes Back. Where everything goes wrong. Yeah. It's all but screwed up at the end, and it's all but a lost fight at the very end of the movie. And then maybe part of the ending of the movie, or an end credit scene, could be the Guardians showing up on Earth, the Guardians of the Galaxy showing up on Earth, or even they don't even have to show up on Earth. They could just like that. I mean, they could. That could be cool, but it could be a transmission. Like, this is a call from the Guardians of the Galaxy to anyone that can hear us. We need help.
Yeah.
And the Guardian that gives Avengers reasons to get in the fucking Milano, and then go out to space.
Right. Yeah, I sort of think you could have, like you were saying, have some of the first movie be in space, where it be Thanos collecting the other stones, like, because Asgard, he has to get that one, and he has to go to Xandar.
Yeah.
So him going around getting those stones, then there has to be some other plot with the Avengers on Earth.
Yeah.
And then we have the whole setup of, somebody telling Doctor Strange he's coming or whatever, and then the last 40 minutes of the first movie is them trying to fight off Thanos. He's got 4 or 5 stones, and then he beats the shit out of them, takes the last stone, the movie ends. Then the first half of the second movie could even be like sort of this whole, like, they do a lot in the Infinity Gauntlet book where it's like them sort of trying to come up with a plan. It's like all the heroes together, and it's really cool to see them, like, they're sort of coming up with a plan, and it's very like it's very like there's not a lot of action, but it's just them trying to figure this out. And it could be this whole build up to it, and like, how are we gonna beat this guy? He just destroyed us. all this, them sort of regrouping, building their whatever team, and then the last half of the movie is them in space fighting it.
Yeah. Well, and because in the Avengers Age of Ultron glimpse of Infinity War, it shows that they're already all but beaten.
Yeah.
You know, and then the glimpse ends with seeing the Leviathans going through a wormhole towards Earth. You know, so one would assume that
I really don't want to see any more Chitauri, personally.
I don't necessarily either. You know, we've already gotten that, but but I think it would nicely tie together the first Avengers movie with this. You know,
true.
It's almost like
they probably will.
They've been hinting at, Thanos since the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
So it would make for kind of a nice sense of continuity to be like, but
it's more of the same.
Yeah, the reason I wouldn't want to see it necessarily is, well, we already saw the Avengers themselves alone could beat the Chitauri army. Yeah. So how big of a threat really is that? This is where things could even get a little bit more interesting. Because in the comics, in later years, part of the lore of Thanos, he's got his own, even if they don't use the Masters of Evil, they more or less could have that void filled by these guys called the Black Order. And they kind of look like what they sound like. Like they're just this kind of cult. Like they're monsterish looking. They each have, the one that's initially talking. I thought was was going to be set up before Ronan
fucked him up.
Yeah,
snapped his neck like a twig.
Yeah. So they kind of look like that. Like they kind of look like this like really gothic space cult of just monsters, aliens basically. And they all work with Thanos. And so it's like they could be part of what makes it more than just Thanos. Like at one point, one of them that's like a huge just this huge wrecking ball of a character.
Right.
They invade Wakanda.
That's who it's gonna be. It's gonna be the Wrecking Crew.
The Wrecking Crew. They can do that.
Shitty villains.
But it's like a worldwide.
That's who the
thing.
Defenders are gonna fight. The Wrecking Crew.
It could be a worldwide thing, and then at one point in the comics in Infinity, the comic event Infinity.
Yeah.
They just dropped the nouns and all that after they just stopped going with Infinity War Gauntlet watches and all that. They just got straight to the point. It's called Infinity.
Yeah.
And they invade Wakanda at one point, and it's Black Panther just out in this field, just like top speed taking on this guy. So it could make for more distractions for the Avengers before they can get to the Bowser level that is Avengers, or that is Thanos up at the top,
And I wonder if or what part Nebula will play in the story, just because she's the daughter.
Do you think she helped save the day?
What?
Because of how she was treated by Thanos in Guardians of the Galaxy? Like, even the part where he's like, you alienated my favorite daughter, Gamora, and the look that Nebula gives, they even cut back to Nebula for a minute, like she's...
What do you mean help save the day?
What if Nebula redeems herself?
Oh, in this movie. I thought you were talking about in Guardians. I'm like, no.
No. Yeah, because she's coming back for Guardians 2.
Well, if you read Infinity Gauntlet, she's kind of a bitch in that story.
Right.
She actually gets the glove at one point.
Yeah.
And Thanos actually has to work with the Avengers and everybody.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's a weird.
I don't see that happening.
No, but
I wouldn't be
they do have
surprised
Nebula
to
in
see
it.
Nebula on Thanos' side or the other side. Like I could see it either way, really.
She could be a really important pivotal role in
that's the
turning of the tides.
Well, no, I don't know about that. Maybe, but I can sort of see villains joining forces to sort of, we need to deal with this bigger threat kind of thing. So, I feel like Loki will be... I feel like the perfect place for Loki, if you haven't read the Infinity Gauntlet series,
this was the next thing I was going to talk about.
Well, we talked about the Mephisto role, but I don't see that as much as the Doctor Doom role where he's just like, he wants to be in control, but the Avengers are like, no, you're fucking just relax.
It sounds like every Doctor Doom story.
Yeah,
Like,
but
no.
it's like Loki's like, I've got the plan, and they're like, no, we'll take it from here. You can help out, kind of thing. Like,
But Doom is all powerful.
right?
Doom is Doom.
Yeah. I just think Loki could fit that role because he could play the humor in it, but still, and he could still maybe play both sides.
Yeah. Because he's Loki. Why wouldn't he manipulate a little bit?
Yeah. So, but which is why he would fit in the Mephisto role also.
I don't know if we've talked about this in a prior episode officially or not yet, but like the idea of the Mephisto being
sort of his right hand man.
Yeah, just kind of an antagonizer, more or less, of Thanos, and
he kind of just annoys Thanos most of the time too.
Yeah, which is kind of funny because I don't think he does that intentionally, but Thanos just treats him like a mosquito in his ear sometimes.
Yeah.
But then there's times where Mephisto will
But I think it's also Mephisto trying to like manipulate Thanos in a weird way.
Yeah.
I don't think it works most of the time, but
because he'll totally kiss Thanos' ass at certain points, and that's the only times where Thanos is just like, you know, I think you're right. You know, you're onto something, Mephisto.
Yeah.
And if you just kind of,
and if you didn't know, Mephisto's essentially the devil.
In Marvel continuity, yes.
Yes.
And so Mephisto, if he's not officially introduced as a character, he may be. You know, we've talked about him being
Strange.
Doctor Strange would be a prime fit for him. If they don't actually introduce the character of Mephisto in the Marvel movies prior to this, they could totally have Loki fill that role. Like that's a perfect role for him, and it's a perfect excuse for allowing Thanos' entrance into Asgard,
or even Loki going to Odin's Vault and getting the Tesseract.
The Tesseract, taking him everywhere, taking him to the Collector.
Yeah,
I don't know how we would know that, but we could find it, you know, and because that could be a great end credit scene too, as a lead up to Infinity War, even just seeing the Collector again.
Yeah,
because Benicio del Toro seems like
I think he definitely will in Guardians 2. Would be my guess.
Yeah, I heard that he's not in it. I heard
really.
Yeah, I heard Benicio del Toro hasn't at least signed on just yet for that. You know,
well, I wouldn't be surprised to see like a post-credit scene,
something really small that would allow him to just shoot in one day and get out. But
I don't think he'll be integral to the story like he was in the first one.
No, I'd like to see more of him, but hopefully we do get to see more of him. Also, after seeing Civil War, we did catch a glimpse, because we were just recently talking about this in the podcast, about who the bald black woman is in the trailer for Avengers Age of Ultron that gets
Doesn't
out of the...
Doesn't necessarily mean it was the same person, but...
You don't think so? Because I looked at you in theaters and that you kind of acknowledged, you know, and I thought that is the same woman that comes out of the, at least in the trailer from Avengers.
She's in the trailer. You have to just forget about that, because it's not part of that movie.
For those of you who are wondering what we're talking about, in Civil War, briefly, with when we first meet T'Challa and some of the Wakandans, you see a woman accompanying him, that black...
It's his bodyguard.
Bald woman. Yeah, bodyguard?
Yeah.
Okay.
He has a group of women that protect him. I can't remember the name of it. Always having me look shit up, because I don't know my comics as well as you, but clearly you don't know it either.
I don't know either, yeah. But... I just kind of speculated that maybe that is the same woman that we see coming out of
it's possible, but
the whatever that thing is that Thor is in with the
that part of that whatever water. That was didn't make the movie, so I sort of just nix it from my brain as far as
you and I were speculating that could be who plays Death, Lady Death, who Thanos is in love with.
Yeah, but the person we saw in Civil War is not playing Death.
Yeah, that would be... Yeah, obviously not now at this point. That would be cool, though.
The Dora Milaje is what it's called, or the Milaje. Doramilaje. But it's his female Wakandan bodyguards. Huh. So that's why there's that whole, like, she said move or I'll move you kind of thing. Yeah. And he's like, as fun as that would be to see, because he knows Black Widow's a badass too. Uh-huh. And like, as fun as it would be to watch you two try to fight, He's like, yeah, just. It's
I took
fine.
that as like he wanted to see two chicks wrestling, basically.
No, I think it was more that his bodyguards are badasses and Black Widow's a badass, and they would just be a hell of a fight. Yeah, so I think we'll see more of his bodyguards in his movie.
Oh, definitely.
So.
But yeah, I remember even when Karen something or other was cast as Nebula. Karen Gillan was cast as Nebula. There was speculation on who she was playing, and originally I think people were like, "Oh, that's Lady Death, maybe."
Huh.
So it's like I wonder, has somebody been cast as Lady Death yet?
Probably, but not that.
That's been announced.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be.
I would think they're at least thinking of who they want to cast.
Right. Well, that's one huge element to the plot too, and she's got to be super fine too, by the way, because it's got to be somebody that obviously Thanos in the
Or
comics
just looks
Thanos
like a
is
skeleton.
Sure, sure. Maybe that's how we see it.
Maybe.
But maybe in the scenes where Thanos is directly talking to her and she never has to say a word.
Yeah.
But in the comics, if you didn't know yet, Thanos is in love with the personification of death.
Right, and I still find it hilarious that I found out fairly recently that Death is actually in love with Deadpool. Which is, I remember I showed you that, like there's a panel where it's like, just makes it even funnier that Thanos can't like get the attention of Death, because Death is just in love with Deadpool, and Deadpool doesn't really give a shit.
Yeah.
So it just makes it perfect.
Is that in Death or in Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe?
I don't think it's in that, but I just remember seeing some panels where it's just like Death is like making like that's what she said jokes to Deadpool, and like it's very weird, but
That's so
and
weird.
like she doesn't say anything to Thanos like ever.
Ever.
She just gives him the cold shoulder like
Would that explain why there's recently a Deadpool
But I
versus
think that's
Thanos crossover?
maybe, but I think that's just sort of supposed to be a funny little thing. I don't think it's meant to be taken. Anything in a Deadpool comic isn't meant to be taken too seriously.
Sure.
So, but I think that's a funny little way they wrote that.
That is funny.
It's clever because he can't die too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the part that makes it work so well.
Oh, it's too bad that we still have a few years to go. This time last year we didn't know that Spider-Man. We had just found out that Spider-Man had joined us. Sony made a deal for him to be in these MCU movies. We still have a few years to go until the Avengers Infinity War comes around. Maybe in that time, what if Fox decides to be cool?
If you get Deadpool, you don't need anybody else. You can't kill him. You just have him fight Thanos till Thanos dies or gives up.
I don't know how you do. I don't know how you do Deadpool in this.
No, I know.
You
I
know,
was just
but-
saying though, like that would be the
Yes.
guy where you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
send Deadpool. He can't kill him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just
right.
gonna cut him to pieces and he's gonna grow back together.
Well, what if we got the X-Men? What if we got the Fantastic Four?
We won't, but it's a nice thought.
Is this That's why it's the speculation episode. But god damn it, I would love to see.
Well, and
Reed Richards could be prime. He could be the one that takes him to space if we wanted
that's
it.
the other thing that is so tricky about this is we talked about this a little bit before we started recording about how we expected to have more tie-ins to this setup for this movie in Civil War, and we really didn't get any.
Yeah.
Like at all. Like
We got
there's
maybe
like
two hints.
one line that Vision has about the Mind Stone,
Yeah.
and that's about it.
How he hopes to one day control the Mind Stone. Maybe he can
Yeah.
one day control the
He
Mind
can
Stone.
control it when Thanos rips it out of his forehead.
Right, so that's exactly what I thought, and what I think you're supposed to think as the audience is, oh, well, maybe he
Can live without it.
yeah. And then of course Tony just makes a quick line towards the beginning where he's just like, I'm doing this now. I'm signing onto these Sokovia Accords now so that something worse doesn't happen later. He mentions particularly there's something worse instead. And he's talking about his vision that he gets.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't remember the line that well, so
Even in Avengers 2, when he points, he's like, that up there, that's the end game.
yeah.
And that line just gets me so pumped. Because there is the end game. And maybe, just maybe, but there's speculation maybe that we maybe get Quicksilver back, or we get everybody back. If they do kill
Right.
Captain America, he comes back.
Right.
Whatever, because we need everybody. That could be done through either like the reality stone or the time stone.
Right.
What if they go back?
You can do
and
whatever
get
you want
these
with
people?
the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Anything.
Anything.
You can think of. So, solves any problem.
Yeah.
Just whatever.
Yeah, that's the perfect excuse for bringing people back from the dead if you're going to.
Yeah.
And if it's done right, it could be so glorious to have
It
all
would be
these
great if the
people back.
Avengers tried, like if Nick Fury was there, and then the Avengers like, we'll bring Coulson back, and Nick Fury's like, shit, I didn't tell him, he's still alive.
or yeah, that would be...
It's just like, no, you don't need to, it's alright, he's good.
Yeah, or he just plays it off like, you're alive! Thank God!
It.
Or if they bring Quicksilver back, and then he just gets killed again right away.
Thanos just like rips his head off his shoulders.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is there's so many other movies still to go that it's like, I don't know how those are going to impact my perception of what these movies are going to be.
Yeah.
Especially like Thor Ragnarok, and like, I don't know. It just, we talked about this a little too, about how Civil War just kind of left us with lots of unanswered questions, and not necessarily with the story it told, because I feel like it's pretty much a closed story. But it's just, we have a fractured team. We have, Cap sort of with his, like I said before, his secret Avengers, his underground kind of team. And I read some stuff where it's like his version of the Avengers are like all going to be in Wakanda, but from that last scene I only got the impression that him and Bucky were in Wakanda.
Yeah.
Like not all of them.
Right.
So I don't buy that necessarily. I think somebody read a little too much into that scene.
Yeah.
Like that, T'Challa was gonna like front that version of the Avengers, which I didn't see that.
Might be a little early to... He hasn't even had his own solo movie yet. I don't know.
Yeah, and they weren't even on the same side in Civil War.
Yeah.
So that seems a little weird.
Uh-huh.
But Steve's got his team.
Remember when we fought? We're cool now, right?
It was all a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
I mean, he is helping Bucky, which is who he wanted to kill. So.
That is true. I didn't even consider that. That is kind of a
cool... But it still seems a little like, I don't think he's going to be all buddy with Cap necessarily.
Yeah.
He's helping him, but.
Yeah.
But that version of the team, and then you got Iron Man and the few other stragglers, and Black Widow and Vision, and no, Hawkeye's with Cap,
right?
Because he was in the prison. So you got Cap, Bucky. Well, Bucky's frozen, so forget Bucky. Cap, Hawkeye, Ant-Man, and Scarlet Witch. I think those are the ones that were in the prison.
Maybe it picks up with next we see,
Rhodey can barely walk.
Yeah.
Rhodey's
an old codger at this point. He's
just paralyzed. He didn't age 40
walk
years.
it off.
Yeah.
No, I wonder what maybe they use one of the stones and bring him the gift of bipedal walking. I don't know. Or he meets Professor X. He's like, it's not so bad. That's one hell of a cameo you don't expect.
They just make him have like a war machine where he's like from the first torso, and then he's got a wheelchair on the bottom.
Yes.
And then the wheelchair just flies
around. That'd be
got a fucking minigun still.
Yeah, just a minigun just coming from his back pouch and his walking in his wheelchair. Yeah, not gonna happen. That is the first thing on this show that we've talked about that I know for sure will not happen. but as I was saying, maybe the way for them all to get off the raft prison is obviously you see Captain America on the outside, right?
He probably had a Quinjet.
Yeah. He must have a Quinjet because he made it all the way over to Wakanda 5 minutes later.
Yeah, he also made it to the raft. I don't think he swam.
Yeah, probably not. Unless we find out he got help from Namor, which didn't happen.
No.
Not going to happen. Would be cool.
Who cares?
Was I even trying to... Yeah, so maybe he being that Cap is on the outside when he gets in the prison, Maybe he finds where the Ant-Man suit is. You know, busts open with his Captain America strength, busts open where that is hiding.
Yeah.
Somehow slides it under the doorway or through the bars to Paul Rudd. He puts it on, gets super small, and lets them all out.
I don't know.
Why wouldn't Captain America just put on the Ant-Man suit himself then and do it?
You don't need to explain it. He got them all out. It was clear.
You think that's all you need?
Yeah.
It's like, by the next movie, they're just free?
No, they're already out. I think when the post-credit scene, when he's in Wakanda, everybody's out of the prison.
Assume they're out?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
He's Captain fucking America. He can do whatever he wants.
I guess that's, yeah.
It's his goddamn movie.
Because we do see the whole, like, crew pretty much is knocked out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just assumed that he...
Okay. For some reason, I was thinking the next movie was just going to pick up with them trying to broken out of the prison. You're right. That is kind of boring.
That's what I mean. I think he has his team of secret Avengers, and he's, going off to do his thing.
So where's Tony when Civil War ends?
Tony Stank is at the mansion. At the Avengers compound.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was helping Rhodey rehabilitate.
Right. So the Avengers compound over there just consists of the few people.
It was him, Rhodey, and Vision.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It's a lonely place for a big old compound.
Fucking sausage party over there.
Yeah. So I just want to see the rest of that night, how the rest of that night went. Like, so we're going to get pizza.
It's like, Vision, where'd you get all these damn sweaters?
Yeah.
Just wearing sweaters.
You're really, really going for that whole blending in as a human thing, aren't you?
Except your face is still fucking green and purple.
Yeah, that's the only thing I thought about in Civil War, like in the whole scene.
He can make a cape, he can't make himself look like a human.
Yeah, and then for some reason goes back to the cape and regular look for the fight scenes. Yeah, I guess.
Because he's Vision.
Because he's Vision, and that's what he does when he does things. In the scene in Civil War when General Ross is just breaking everything down about the Sokovia Accords. He's just like, I noticed that he never even makes eye contact with Vision, and like one shot, and even General Ross is talking, it just pans across the back of Vision's head, and I just really wanted him to just be like, who the fuck is this guy? What's up with this dude? He's clearly red and green, and he's not of this earth.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, yeah, man. As far as Civil or as Infinity War, there's a lot of wars going on. As far as the Infinity War speculation goes, I think we've kind of touched on the bulk of it.
The one thing I'll say is I think at the end of that movie, I think you have Tony Stark make some sort of grand sacrifice to help defeat Thanos, and he's done.
So you think Tony Stark is going to make some grand sacrifice?
Yeah, and die.
Because Marvel's like, we can't keep paying you this insane amount of money.
I think they would love to, but I don't. At some point, you got to make room for more people, and I think maybe
we're already paying him to show up in the Spider-Man movies.
I think maybe you get a couple of heroes like Cap and somebody else to kind of sort of just walk away after that. Like, we got through this, but I'm done kind of thing. And doesn't mean he can't come back, because I think Chris Evans would come back down the line.
Yeah. But
I think it would be nice to sort of transition away from...
Yeah, and that's where, like, maybe Falcon could take up the mantle of Captain Eagle. American Eagle.
Captain America Eagle.
Yeah.
Falcon. Dove. Crow.
Dove of America. Cap Dove America. That's even worse than American Eagle.
Cap Dove?
Yeah, I think that could be something. And, but, and also somebody's probably going to lift the hammer. Maybe Avengers 2 was foreshadowing with Cap budging Thor's hammer that he lifts it up eventually at the end. And hits Thanos right in the nuts. Or maybe he smashes the Infinity Gauntlet with it. Yeah. But then again, wouldn't that maybe blow everything up?
What if I don't think they would want to kill Chris Hemsworth just because he's still young and they could still get movies out of him. Yeah. But I was going to say, what if he hits it and Tony like blasts it or something and then they both die. But I don't think they'd kill Chris Hemsworth, but yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he stopped avenging for a while too.
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see him being the one that stays as like sort of a connection to the last group.
Could be.
'Cause he's
but you've got a perfect
young
excuse
enough.
for not having him around. Be like, oh, I'm in Asgard.
Right.
You know, so that's a perfectly good excuse.
And he could
for not
still
being there.
theoretically have, solo movies and not be part of the Avengers.
Yeah.
So, but I think, what do you think the movies for Phase 4 will be?
That's what I was going to lead into now that we've really talked about the Infinity War speculation.
Yeah.
As far as Phase 4, what happens after? Because
No,
this is supposed to be the
just what-
culmination.
Just what movies do you think will be
Oh, I mean, obviously,
part of
because
that lineup?
there's Marvel's blocked out those like 3 dates for
Well, and
movies.
I would assume there's probably going to be at least 5 before some Avenger.
We're going to get another Spider-Man movie that's all but guaranteed.
Yeah.
Probably Black Panther sequel.
Yeah. I
Guardians of the
agree.
Galaxy 3, possibly.
Potentially.
Potentially. And after that, it kind of gets fuzzy. I don't know.
I think there's a possibility, by the way things are going, I think you could get a Vision and Scarlet Witch movie,
Huh.
potentially. They might just continue to try to tell that story through the Avengers movies,
Yeah.
which works either way. I think we will get a Black Widow movie, probably in Phase 4. I think there's still a good chance we get Inhumans.
Oh, how could I forget?
Um,
How could I forget? Inhumans is. I'm really disappointed that we don't get Black Bolt in some of the Inhumans.
Yeah.
Just for the space,
But
I
to me,
want that
it's
in
like-
Infinity War.
Infinity War is so much of a culmination of everything since Phase 1.
Yeah.
And that's what they've sort of said, is like it's the closing of the third phase, which is the whole chapter of this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Infinity-
starting Inhumans is sort of like,
they could
you're
totally be their
sorta
new
like-
A-listers. You know.
yeah, but if you wait and start them in Phase 4,
Right.
then it's not, you don't have the baggage of the previous phases.
Sure. Yeah, and you can mention things like Thanos
And maybe they think they're closer to getting a deal with Fox than, because I think if they ever do get a deal with Fox,
Yeah.
you won't see an Inhumans movie because you'll see an X-Men movie.
Yeah, but also even if they didn't do the full-on movie, like the Inhumans
Inhumans
could
could be an interesting Netflix series. I don't know if you could put enough money into it to make it look good, but
just call it Atalan.
yeah, or something. They're doing that Krypton show
Yeah.
on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, can't wait to tune into that. The other option in my mind is Inhumans could show up and be villains more or less, at least at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Maybe.
It could totally work.
Yeah.
And then obviously they work it out by the end, but I think that could make for interesting things. I'd rather see and let the Guardians of the Galaxy be their franchise. Maybe they cross over with it if they want to.
Yeah.
But Inhumans could totally be a new breadwinner for Marvel in Phase 4. Another option is perhaps they show up first and this is just me daydreaming, but you mentioned Fox. If we do get a Fantastic Four rights back by then for Marvel,
Yeah.
or at least in a shared venture deal like Sony and Marvel with Spider-Man, say we get Fantastic Four back. I mean, that's where we first meet the Inhumans in the comics in the Jack
Right.
Kirby and Stan Lee days. So why don't we maybe bring them into the Inhumans into the fold through Fantastic Four? I really hope
don't-
that Phase 4 includes Fantastic Four.
I sort of don't think...
Fantastic Phase 4. Boom. End of the episode. That's it.
I don't think that any other big deals like that are going to happen anytime soon. I think the Spider-Man thing was
A work of God.
a rare thing.
Yeah.
I don't. Sony had more problems than just their Spider-Man movies were making them money. That wasn't the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't loved critically or by fans, but they were making Sony money. It's just the rest of the company was falling apart, and they needed to make a deal
Yeah.
to make some serious money. So
Right.
I think it was a rare situation. I don't expect it. Fantastic Four is tricky just because they clearly keep fucking it up.
Yeah.
So there's a chance there, but I'd say slim to none that happens. But X-Men, isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
I say if they do a Fantastic Four film, don't make it an origin story. I think just go with it this time. Just like have them already, and they can explain it a little bit, but.
Yeah, I understand that to an extent, but it's such an unknown property as far as to the masses.
Yeah.
Even though there's been 3 movies.
Yeah.
They haven't been successful. They haven't,
Right. It's such a.
You have to get them. You have to get the people that care about it excited first before you can get everybody else excited about it.
You can do things like. I mean, like they made Ant-Man cool. Like they.
Yeah, but they had 9 movies before that to make you trust them.
Right, but like things like Guardians or even Inhumans, which we haven't seen anything on film of, those already work. As weird as they already work because they are. It's a space movie. I don't
think it's that easy.
Well, or it's it's not quite that easy, but you at least have a backdrop to be like, oh, okay, I can go with the idea that there will be aliens and weird looking things happening.
Sure.
But it's Fantastic Four. That's a tricky thing to tackle because how do you get the audience behind the idea of what happens to these people? Some dude turns into an orange rock monster, some flies and turns into flame, one goes invisible, and it's really hard to make Reed Richards stretching look as cool in the comics as it look as cool in the movies as it does in comics.
Right.
It just looks kind of goofy, but it can be done. I totally think that it can be done.
Well, and that's part of the thing about the Fantastic Four is you kind of have to reinvent them in the sense that they were the first real creation of Stan Lee, and so they're dated in a sense. Mm-hmm. You have to find a way to update them and make them more accessible to people now.
I think that's what they tried with Four-Stick one, because Fantastic Four, the recent one.
The story wasn't good,
But they tried to make them, younger. They went for the ultimate versions.
There's parts of that movie that they're trying stuff and it could work. It's just they didn't pull it off.
I was watching recently just some of the scenes from it, and like just had nothing to do for a little bit of time, and I was just like, it sucks because that's a movie that you want to work. Like I remember Cody, a friend of ours, being excited when seeing the trailer. He was like, I'm looking forward to that. The trailer made it look like we might be getting like a really interesting Fantastic Four movie, and we didn't. And it's like there were so many things that should have and could have worked about the movie, and the first hour of it is good, and then falls apart for various reasons.
Lots of reasons.
We do a fantastic episode on that Fantastic Four film.
Episode.
Yeah, it was our second episode. We should have saved it for 4th. But you feel free to go back and listen to that too. But that is what I hope for in Phase 4. I don't know what else we would get.
My question is, do you put Spider-Man in the Avengers?
Ghost Rider, if we don't get a Netflix series. Ghost Rider would be excellent too.
Do you put Spider-Man in the Avengers? Because I would worry about him because of his popularity. Once you're trying to transition to this new Avengers team, possibly overshadowing some of these other components. So, like, as cool as it is to have Spider-Man in there, it's almost better to leave him on his own.
Well, in Civil War, I personally kept being distracted by Spider-Man.
Right.
I loved seeing him, and I wanted to keep seeing more of him.
And especially if you're not seeing Cap and Iron Man and Thor.
Yeah.
If your Avengers team is consisting of Black Panther, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Falcon, whether it's as Captain America or
maybe
or
Rhodey.
Falcon. Probably not Rhodey because he can't fucking fly.
They might leave it at that. They might have him just be done. Yeah. Falcon.
Yeah, I mentioned him. And maybe the Hulk. I don't know. I don't know what they do with the Hulk. Depends on what they do in Thor Ragnarok. So
it does.
It's hard to predict without seeing all these movies that we still have. We got to remember, this is the first movie in Phase 3, Civil War.
Right.
So we still have several to go before we even get close to Phase 4.
Yeah. Yeah. We might meet new characters that end up being Avengers.
Yeah, I was going to say, we might...
Adam Warlock could be.
I think there's a possibility. There are 2 characters I think are...
Doctor Strange, of course.
Are very possible we meet in Guardians 2. One being Adam Warlock, the other being Richard Rider or a version of him.
Oh, Nova, yeah. Dick Ryder himself, ladies and gentlemen.
Or what if that's part of the plot of one of these movies where Thanos basically destroys Xandar and all the Nova Corps, and then there's one left.
Right, and that gives our hero and Richard Rider motivation.
That could be a post-credit scene with like there's one survivor kind of thing.
That's kind of what I got from Guardians of the Galaxy with like all of those Nova Corps being destroyed. Obviously we still get Nova Prime and and John C. Reilly,
right?
The character no one can remember his name. We just think of John C. Reilly. But so there's obviously a few of them left. But at first I was thinking, oh, they're gonna go that direction, and Richard Rider's the last.
Yeah, because if he goes to get that stone that they have locked away, and he just kills everybody.
Yeah.
Because that would be a good first.
Because why wouldn't he?
Yeah, it would be a good first, showing of how powerful he is, where he just fucking wipes them out.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Nova could totally fit right in on an Avengers team.
Yeah, and he could also be there to fight Thanos, because he could be in space.
Please, oh man, wow, that was tasty. I like that, man. Wow, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Call
me, Marvel.
You got right. They should be listening. If they're not listening, they're missing out on gold here. Doctor Strange, obviously, is going to be a member of the Avengers.
He could be, but he's also a character I feel like that could work on his own. Like
he can. Yeah, he could.
I could see him just having his own sort of adventures, and I don't know. Like I feel like you might want to hold on to like Thor and Hulk, and then just sprinkle in the new guys. So maybe have Thor, Hulk, Black Panther, Scarlet Witch, Vision, and maybe those are your core Avengers.
Well, if we've got and Falcon, see that could be the one or two maybe familiar faces that you need if he does take on the Captain America mantle.
Yeah,
hell,
but
Bucky,
I mean, if you
Bucky could be,
if you still have Hulk and Thor, you're still pretty connected to the old.
Yeah.
You're losing 4 out of 6, but
right.
Yeah,
and it could be kind of like what they're doing with Robert Downey Jr. showing up as Tony Stark in the Spider-Man films, at least in the first one that's coming up.
Yeah.
Maybe all you need is a small mentoring role from like Bruce Banner. And you get a Hulk action scene.
Maybe.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily need them to be. It might be a lot more expensive for them to just include them as a cast member. Here's the thing: characters like Hulk, and Spider-Man are gonna sell toys. They're gonna sell merchandise. Right. So they're very recognizable faces. When I think of Marvel, I think of Hulk and I think of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Those, and maybe Wolverine, but those are as far as the ones that are available. They don't have any reason to get rid of them otherwise. We don't know what's gonna happen with Bruce Banner and the Hulk, but
it's hard to kill off the Hulk.
I've heard. I don't know if this is just rumor or not. That the journey. I think Mark Ruffalo was talking about the journey of Bruce Banner and his relationship with the Hulk is going to evolve by the time we do see him in Infinity War. So that would make you think that maybe by the time Infinity War comes around, he's more like the version of the Hulk we do see in the Infinity Gauntlet comic, where he's more intelligent. He's able to channel his thoughts a little bit more eloquently than just like Hulk smash. But
right.
I don't know how much I want to see that.
Yeah.
I like him being just a big gruff oaf, but...
Well, and I think that's part of what happens in Planet Hulk, where he basically has to stay the Hulk because he's in space, but those personalities start to meld because he never transitions back. So I think that happens in that storyline. So we might see that with the Thor movie.
Yeah, a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, and I can't wait till 4 movies come out and prove all this shit wrong, and we'll be...
Yeah. Or what if it's just all dead on? I'll be a little freaked out. I will know that Marvel was listening to this if that's
Except
the case.
for Punisher killing Thanos.
And teaming up with Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Called it.
Well, guys, I think that about wraps up our episode this week on the Infinity War 1 and 2 speculations.
Yeah, you got to be sick of listening to us ramble at this point.
This show is for rambling about nonsense. Thanks so much for listening, guys. This has been the Longbox Office. Before we go, Matt, tell them where the good people can find us on the internet.
You can find us on Twitter at Longbox Office. You can find us on iTunes. Every Wednesday we would drop new episodes. Subscribe there, like, comment, rate. That helps us, do well and keep bringing you new episodes.
Mm-hmm.
You can always find us on YouTube and SoundCloud as well. Download us there, comment, like, all that fun stuff.
Tell a friend to tell a friend about the episodes we're putting out, guys. If you liked the episode, tell us why on Twitter at Longbox Office. If you didn't like it,
Go fuck yourself.
Yes. Or tell us why. Give us a shout out. Let us know what you'd like to see us cover an episode on. Until then, guys, this has been the Longbox Office. I'm Sky.
I'm Matt.
Until the next clobbering time.
Flame off. I'm leaving that in.
What?
The go fuck yourself.
Good.